All right, so we're going to be reading the blog post on Stadium. Obviously, Stadium is going to be a big topic of discussion this week. Apparently, it's like blog posts every day, so got a lot of stuff. This one says, Enter the Stadium, Lessons Learned from the Playtest. And they say, welcome to part 2 in our series on Overwatch's 2 newest way to play Stadium. Today, we want to highlight what has been improved upon since you last saw Stadium in action in the Overwatch 2 Spotlight. So this is part 2 of the part 4 series. And they say, after announcing Stadium as part of the Overwatch 2 Spotlight, we ran a closed alpha where thousands of players tried out Stadium for the first time. Now keep in mind, Chad, this is also my first time playing Stadium since Spotlight. I wasn't invited to the previous playtest. So this is my first time seeing all the stuff from the alpha. And they say, we were incredibly excited by all the feedback we received. We addressed hundreds of our bugs, made updated changes to balance, and added various quality of life improvements. We're so grateful to everyone who participated. And they say, so yeah, I mean, I can already tell from the quality of life, it looks so much better than it did at Spotlight. Like, it feels better, plays better, all of that. Builds are the key to fun. The biggest takeaway for us was truly how much our testers played Stadium. Most players were my Boston accent coming into play. Most players returned for at least 5 of the 7 4-hour sessions, and we couldn't be more appreciative. That's actually really impressive. Like, having a lot of, like, getting people to sign up for playtests and actually return to them can be tough. The number one comment we heard was how much fun folks were having creating the new hero builds. This was incredibly awesome for us to hear, as builds are what set Stadium apart from the core game we all know. Instead of hero swapping, it's how you equip certain items and powers every round that drives the gameplay. You know what would be kind of nice to have in this? And I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. What if there was like a search button? So you could like, if I'm like starting off like playing this for the first time and I'm like, okay, listen, I am overwhelmed by all these options, but I know that I want to go, something with sprint, right? And I can just I can literally search sprint and it just loads anything to do with sprint. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, maybe I'm just overthinking that, but I think it will help with, it's going to be overwhelming at first because there's a lot there. Even me right now, when I'm like looking through stuff, I'm like, dude, I gotta like a filter or something. Yeah. But I think that'd be a cool, like a keyword search. So if I want to look for, if I want to look for Helix Rocket builds, I can do that. And then maybe we'll have other things that will be attached to it. Obviously they do that kind of, but I think I don't know, I'm just thinking more. So you're not sure about typing? Consoles can't do it? I mean, technically you could, but yeah, it would take a little bit longer. Good call. I always got to remember that too with console. Like, there's multiple variations, but improving the player experience. As an early build, the playtest helped identify a few points of friction that we've since worked on. The feedback received helped us improve a variety of things, such as item and power balance issues, and some problematic builds that proved to be overly powerful. For example, playtesters quickly discovered Cassidy was able to one-hit knock out heroes with 350 health or more and have the ability to lock on with a critical hit. Yes, it was terrifying, but we got that fixed. I don't know if anybody's gotten this initial feedback too, but Cassidy still seems really, really good in this mode. Now, again, that's early here, but Cassidy seems to be still really strong. We've also improved the variety of items you can buy and sell, including items that can help counter against powerful builds. They definitely did that. They definitely changed some things around, and obviously I don't know what they changed because I didn't get to see any of that stuff. So, the mercy rule. During these playtests, we had a mercy rule. Set so if a team won the first 3 games in a row, the match ended early. However, we quickly came to realize that sometimes a match isn't exactly a stomp after the first 3 rounds. So we added a second condition before calling a match early. Now, if after a 3-0, the leading team has a 15,000 stadium cash or more than the trailing team, the mercy rule will activate. And I have had a few games today where we were actually down 3-0. I had a game today where we were down 3-0, went 7 rounds. So I'm glad they found kind of a middle ground. They might even iterate on this even more in the future, but I think to give people an idea of why the mercy rule exists in this mode, the best way to explain it is this. It's a pretty, you're committing to a long period of time playing this, right? 30, 40 minutes if you go the distance. So I think what they want to do is prevent you from getting into a game that's an absolute stomp and making you basically be locked in for, 30 minutes, right? So instead that will save some time and get you back into the game if you need to, etc. But anyway, otherwise at least one more round is played to give the trailing team a fair chance to reverse sweep, which is cool. We'll be keeping an eye on the mercy rule and can tune it as needed in future updates. Our goal is to make sure every game has meaning, while also not leaving players who are behind in a one-sided game from having to wait too long to be able to re-queue for a new match. I could have just read that paragraph, but I decided to sound like I'm smart. So, and here's the mercy rule. It kind of just shows you. I don't really have to go too much into the chart. Basically, if you have more than this, your game will keep going. or you have less than a 15,000 gap between the money that you have in the stadium cash, then the game will keep going. If it's more, then the game ends. Slowing down snowballs. Snowballing was also an issue in some matches. Even with bounties on key targets, a team that was significantly leading could access their more powerful items faster than the team catching up. Now the trailing team will have stadium cash boosts, plus both teams earn increased passive cash throughout the match. It will still take effort to settle the score, but we hope this adjustment will prevent major snowballing. So far, seems pretty good. Even when I'm like, my team's getting destroyed, I feel like I can at least catch up in some forms. I feel like the major difference I've noticed is like, while they might be able to buy their like 12,000, 10,000 power, I'll be at like 9,700 and need like one more round to do it. Pretty good so far. Obviously, I think they're going to iterate on that anyway. I think these are things that are going to evolve even more once everybody's playing it. Because even in a setting where you have, I don't know, let's say 15,000 people, playing in like the close, I don't even know how many people they had in the playtest, but like I think it was like probably 10, 15,000 people. Once you get this to millions of people, all of this stuff that they've learned could just like, there could be 10 more things they need to fix because larger sample size, more people. I mean, although I feel like 15,000 is considered a good sample size, right? I don't know. But I mean, once you get to 1 million people, like that's where more bugs will show up, things like that. Sorry, I just went overboard there, but we're currently satisfied with the balance between all of our heroes and we're ready to launch. However, we'll be watching your games very closely and plan to react quickly if any given item, power, or hero build starts to become too weak or too powerful. So keep an eye out for balance updates. I better not touch I just developed a baby diva tank build. That was amazing. If they nerf that, I'm gonna be heated. Because Diva's already struggling in that mode to begin with. Don't take away that one from me, okay? A whole new third-person perspective. Stadium is a unique mode with a lot of things happening around your hero, making it harder to see everything while in first-person perspective. For this reason, Stadium is set to default to third-person view. However, those who prefer to stay in first-person perspective, looking at you FPS purists, can switch to first-person in the game settings. Keep in mind, I've been playing this a ton. I've seen a ton of people already with first-person. So I don't necessarily know. Obviously, third person will have like its benefits, but I've seen people go first person and be just fine. So anyway, how does the third person feel? Better than I expected. I don't mind it. Again, I don't mind it, but I still like I like my first person and third person version of Overwatch. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't mind it is what I'm saying, but I understand where people won't like third person as much, or vice versa, where people may not like FPS as much. And you see it a lot. There's a lot of games with third person nowadays. So players in third person perspective have new elements on their reticle to indicate when their hero is reloading or when their attacks are being blocked by line of sight. The reload thing has been great, by the way. I like that. We've added the field of view slider, and players can assign a key, bind it to toggle what shoulder the camera overlooks. And of course, all these settings can be customized for each of your favorite heroes. You don't have to put like the X thing here, but this basically just shows you that sometimes when you're playing third person, you might like shoot a corner, but you don't realize you're actually blocked off by that. This just kind of helps alleviate that problem that people have had. Get your game plan ready. Stadium is just around the corner, and we can't wait to see all of you group up with your friends and jump in the game. We still have a lot of things we want to cover in the days ahead, including details on items and powers and how you can create your own hero build. Stadium is not just any mode for the arcade. It's a permanent way to play Overwatch 2 alongside the core gameplay in unranked and competitive. Stay tuned as we're planning updates for every season with more heroes, maps, items, and powers. I'm excited for that. That'll be fun. Again, thanks to all our content creators, fellow team members, and hundreds of players who jumped into the Stadium playtest last month. I was saying hundreds of players, so it wasn't even thousands. So yeah, I think once the game goes live, they'll probably have more things to iterate on. We know y'all can't wait to jump in, but don't worry, Stadium will be here soon. And so far, even in just like the limited playtime I've had, Stadium's been a blast. I think it's going to be really fun to play. And you know what? If you don't end up liking it, like I always say, to each their own, and whatever you enjoy in Overwatch and how you want to play it, that's what matters the most. So hope you enjoyed the blog post. Sub to the YouTube. Here's another video to watch or something.